Hola, muy buenas tardes a todos. Soy el profesor Adams. Yo acabo de hablar con un estudiante y él tenía algunas preguntas muy buenas y yo quería aclarar algunas cosas esta semana. So I'm going to do a little comparison here back in English and Spanish. Many of you are doing homework dealing with the future tense and the future perfect tense. Now, those are tenses that you might think, they sound kind of odd. I don't know if I ever use those. And let me go ahead and describe when and how and why you would use them and why we're learning them. I say this because a lot of you have Spanish-speaking backgrounds. You come from families that speak Spanish, and you have a certain way of saying things, and that's fine. When we learn new concepts, I don't want to change the way you speak. I just want to add to the way you speak. I want to put more tools in the tool belt. So let me explain the difference of future tense on how you might say something casually versus why we're learning a brand new tense. For example, let's take the word to study, estudiar. If I'm going to say, hey, what are you going to do tonight? I'm going to study. I would probably say, voy a estudiar. Voy a estudiar esta noche. Voy a estudiar. You use a combination of ir, voy, with the preposition a. It kind of connects it with estudiar. Voy a estudiar. That is a very common way of expressing something that I would say in the future. Now, sometimes I might use the present tense. Let's say we're going to go out for a drink, and I say, hey, I'll swing by and pick you up at 7. I would say, te busco a las 7. Buscar, to look for, but it really means I'm going to stop by and grab you, right? Te busco a las 7. Busco. I'm using the present tense to express the future. So you might say it that way. But in this specific section of the book, we're learning future tense. So, iré a tu casa, estudiaré esta noche. That is a kind of an odd way of saying it, depending on who you're talking to. So yeah, I wouldn't say to my buddy, hey, I'm gonna study tonight. Estudiaré esta noche. It sounds very formal. It's not as common to say it that way. So when would we say it? When would we use the actual future tense of a verb? It's more of a commitment style of expression. I'm committing. So for example, if I were at a job interview and the person hiring me for the job said, hey, are you available tomorrow? I will call you at 2. Then it would be appropriate to say, te llamaré a las 2. Because I'm showing a firm commitment in my statement. Te llamaré a las 2. If I'm talking to my teacher and I say, hey, John, will you study on Saturday? It's important that you study. Will you do it? Estudiarás. I'm really trying to get a commitment out of him. And he's saying, yes, Professor Adams, I will study. Sí, estudiaré. And that's okay. And it's very appropriate to say it that way. But in casual conversation, hey, what are you going to do on Saturday? Voy a estudiar. Voy a ir a la casa de un amigo. So I'm not saying that you have to use the future tense every time you express the future, but it's used in a commitment style of speech, a firm commitment. I'm going to cook tonight. Voy a cocinar. Hey, I will call you tonight at 7, so be ready. Te llamaré a las 7. So do you see how we can use the future and it would totally make sense? Now, the future perfect, that some of you might struggle with that one, but there are reasons why I would use the future perfect. Let's take English, for example. We have an exam. I have an exam today, but by 6 o'clock, I will have taken my exam. You see how I used it in English? I will have taken. All of the verbs that are called perfecto, like presente perfecto, pluscuamperfecto, all of the perfectos, the perfect. When you see perfect with a verb tense, then that means it's a compound verb phrase. It's a combination of haber, H-A-B-E-R, with the past participle of the verb. So if I say, I have eaten, yo he comido. I had eaten, yo había comido. And those tenses are for another conversation. But if I want to say, I were to have eaten, yo hubiera comido. I would have eaten, yo habría comido. My point is, you've got these two verbs together, haber plus the participle of the verb. So if I want to say, by 6 o'clock, I will have eaten. Now, maybe you think, I don't talk like that in English. I'll eat by 6. Maybe you say it like that. But there is a proper way of saying it. I will have eaten at 6. And like I said, that might not be your style of speech, but it is an appropriate phrase to say. So in Spanish, it sounds like this. Habré comido a las 6. Habré comido a las 6. Habré tomado el examen. So at 6, I will have taken the test. At 6, I will have eaten. Now, if you, in regular random life, express yourself differently and get that same point across, then that's fine. But what I'm doing academically is I'm trying to expand your understanding of overall verb tenses in speech. I'm adding to the tool belt. I'm not changing the tools. You keep the tools you already have. I'm just adding to it. I'm giving you that ability to use these phrases and expressions in certain scenarios where it deems necessary and appropriate. All right? So the use of the present or the future perfect can be challenging. I will have done something by this time. By tomorrow, I will have slept 8 hours because maybe I need to sleep and haven't been sleeping. I will have slept 8 hours. When you wake me up, I will have slept 8 hours. How do I say that? Habré dormido. Habré dormido. I will have slept. Now, keep in mind the word habré. In the future tense, that haber is actually conjugated with the future tense. Just like estudiaré, habré. Just like cocinaré, habré. So you have estudiaré, estudiarás, estudiará, estudiaremos, estudiaréis, estudiarán. Haber does the same thing. Habré, habrás, habrá, habremos, habréis, habrán. Now, if you notice, it's not haberé. It's not haberé estudiado or haberé comido. Some verbs have a shift in root when you use the future or the conditional tense. Now, if I say I will go, you can say voy a ir. You can also say iré, like tomorrow I will go, firm commitment, iré. That's not irregular. But if I use words like salir, it's not saliré, it's saldré. So I change the spelling of saliré to saldr, saldré, saldrá, saldrá. And there's a variety of them that do that. Poner, pondré, not poneré. Saber, sabré, sabrá, sabrá. I will know the answer. Sabré la respuesta. Tener, tendré. You know what? Next year, I'll be 47. En el próximo año, tendré 47 años. Now, could I say voy a tener? Sure. Like I said, that's the more common way of doing it. But if I want to go ahead and use the future tense and show this firm commitment, tener is tendré. Tendré, tendrás, tendrá. Tendremos, tendréis, tendrán. What's another one? Pondré, poner, pondré. Hacer, the last one I can think of right now. Hacer, to do. Haré, it's not haceré. It's haré, harás, harás. So if I'm talking to you as a student, go, okay, will you do your homework? I can use the future tense to get that firm commitment. ¿Harás tu tarea? Sí, profesor. Haré mi tarea. Lo haré. Lo haré. That's an expression like, I will do it. Now, la tarea, la haré, but the expression is lo haré. I will do it. Just like Nike, do it. Although Nike uses the command form, hazlo. My point is, future tense, I have to change haceré to haré. Haré, harás, hará, haremos, haréis, harán. Muy bien. Bien, he explicado mucho. Así que es un vídeo demasiado largo ya, así que voy a terminar. Muchas gracias por escuchar. Si ustedes tienen preguntas, cualquier pregunta en cualquier momento, ya saben, pueden escribirme un correo electrónico y yo les contestaré. I use the future tense. Did you see that? I will respond to you. Les contestaré. Okay. Muchas gracias. Adiós.